Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. I am Bhavin Olver with the details. The government is said to be one step closer to its goal of transforming the East St. George constituency into a hub for tourism activities on mainland St. Vincent. This was noted at a groundbreaking ceremony today for the Royal Mill Resort and Residences at Rather Mill. The resort and residences is expected to help improve this country's room stock and create more employment opportunities for locals. Area Representative Camilo Gonzalez said it is his vision for Caliacor and its environs to be a hub for tourism in SVG, and at today's groundbreaking ceremony, the Royal Mill Resort and Residences is one of the many steps being made for this to be a reality. He said the government's decision to transform the Canash Beach from a ship graveyard to a beautiful seafront property is one which allows for tourism developments to take place in the area.
5 years ago, that beach was a junkyard. There were derelict ships up and down the coast, run aground. It wasn't possible to swim there, and it certainly wouldn't be a particularly good view on this hill of the Royal Mill Hotel if the hotel guests and millionaire investors looked out of their window and saw a graveyard for ships. But we set about moving that graveyard, eliminating the ships, buying into Kelly Glass's vision for Canash Bay to be a center for yacht tourism in the Southern Caribbean. And all of a sudden, this location became that much more attractive. And we said that we would attract businesses to this area through attractive concessions and through selling the natural advantages of East St. George, its location, its intelligent and hardworking people, and its natural assets, and businesses began to come.
Minister Gonzalez said the resort and residences will be the most ambitious hospitality construction project anywhere in SVG.
There will be high-end villas arcing around the landscape and looking off towards the Grenadines. There will be a tower hotel in the middle of it. How many stories high is it, Adam? 12-story high hotel tower. And you can imagine it, looking up on the hill, coming from Caliacor or coming from Bayabu, driving around the corner and seeing this towering, gleaming white structure on a hill overlooking all of this wonderful landscape. And it is going to have a wonderful bar where the community can interact with the guests. It's going to have obviously parking and a whole host of ancillary facilities. And it is going to be a style of architecture that exists nowhere else in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think Adam, who lives somewhere on Miami Beach, was inspired by the Miami style architecture, and he's bringing a little bit of that flavor here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And
the Finance and Economic Planning Minister said the project will employ over 200 persons, with the majority expected to be locals. He added that after construction there will be opportunities for persons seeking employment in the hospitality sector.
The 200 and odd people in construction hired, they tell me that 200 and odd people will be employed in the hotel itself, in the hospitality services. And in that regard, I would like to point out that currently there are 249 young Vincentians getting associate's degrees in hospitality, culinary arts, and tourism studies at the community college just down the road. And I know that many of them, at least the graduates from East St. George, will be looking forward to working here at the Royal Mill Hotel. We believe that this investment is a manifestation of what we're trying to do in the government, not only in East St. George, but across the country. As I said before, we didn't go out and find them. We didn't solicit them. We didn't bring them here. They found this opportunity on their own. But they found it because the government has created a conducive environment for investment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And because we have cleaned up the environment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and because we're educating a talented workforce in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce is one of the most important private sector entities in SVG. And for 2020, the organization is looking at ways which it can grow stronger and have a greater impact on society. So says the Senior Vice President of the Chamber, Annette Mark, as she addressed the Chamber's first luncheon for the year. The Chamber, which has been in existence since the 1920s, plays an important role in the economy of SVG. At a business luncheon today, Mark said for 2020, they're looking at expanding their membership to include more private sector companies.
Well, I think that one of the things that the membership itself can actually assist us by themselves inviting people to our luncheon, inviting them to our meetings to see what the chamber is about. The chamber also has to be able to put in places that will encourage people to want to join the chamber. Chamber of Commerce is in a number of islands or all over the world are entities, are private sector entities that have quite powerful, that affect even such things as policy, government policy, anything to do with trade, anything to do with export, anything to do with business. They are able to work on behalf of their membership. And our chamber, we need to become a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more out there, a little bit more, and this will change, and it will happen as our membership grows, as the economy grows, as things change within St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and as we attract hopefully more and more young people to the.
Referencing a similar organization in the United Arab Emirates, Mark said the organization wields tremendous power and influence, which the SVG Chamber should seek to emulate.
I mean, one of the things we struggle with is lack of financial resources. So the membership will help, and also doing other initiatives to build our financial resources. And the chamber has been there before and can get there again. It has been at that point already. So in Ras Al Khaimah, for instance, the chamber there has an exhibition center, and they have been very influential on trade, on growing the economy of the UAE. It is the second oldest chamber of commerce in the UAE. So they are powerful and they're influential. And, I mean, even within our own Caribbean, there are a number of chamber of commerces that have that kind of influence. And it's a matter of time. It's going to work. It's going to take commitment from the membership and the executive and stuff, and we're going to get there eventually.
Mark said along with local networking, members can benefit from the relationship the SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce has cultivated over the years.
I mean, any issues that you may have, in respect to trade, like, okay, for instance, we have just brought on board here as a benefit the British Chamber of Commerce, and these are the kind of people that we're going to be reaching out to and partnering. So we'll partner with other chambers around the Caribbean. So if there's something that a member wants to get into another island, do business, do trade, the chamber could intercede on their behalf in doing that. We're going to be doing some work with the Ras Al Khaimah Chamber of Commerce. They will be helping us with training and some training programs and stuff like that. So members who are part of the chamber will benefit from that kind of. So yes, there is definitely a benefit being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and those benefits will grow as the chamber becomes more and more vibrant.
The guest speaker at today's luncheon, hosted by the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, was British politician Lord Howard of Lymph. Lord Howard spoke on the topic, leveraging the business relationship between the British Caribbean Chamber of Commerce and the SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce. He was among several CARICOM countries not invited to be a part of the meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo in Jamaica today. Speaking at the weekend, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who is the current chairman of the CARICOM, made it clear that she could not agree to a meeting with anyone to which CARICOM members are not invited, and suggested if some are not invited, it is an attempt to divide the region. Since her address, several CARICOM leaders have spoke out in her support. At today's conference, Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves said he fully supports the position taken by Prime Minister Motley, noting that this is not the first time that the U.S. has selected some CARICOM leaders for a meeting.
And I have not just a sympathy, but I have a strong support for Mia Motley, where she says that she couldn't, as chairman of CARICOM, accept an invitation to go where some countries are invited and some are not invited. I think that's the correct position, because it would appear as though you are dividing CARICOM. Having said that, it's the right of any sovereign country to invite who they want to invite, and for those sovereign countries to go. Though, just like the first time when President Trump invited similar persons, the only one I think is different there is St. Kitts. They have St. Kitts now, Foreign Minister, where they went to President Trump's residence in Florida. You remember that famous picture where all of them sit down in straight back chairs?
PM Gonsalves said he could not say why the U.S. chose to leave out SVG from the meeting, pointed out that SVG has taken certain positions when dealing with regional and international matters, which the U.S. opposes.
What I do know, the United States of America has a position in support of Guaido as the president of Venezuela, and St. Vincent and Grenadines says no. Don't see how Guaido can be imposed as president. President Maduro. I don't know, because of the Venezuela issue we have this difference. I don't know if it is because Antigua and Barbuda and St. Vincent and Grenadines presumptuous enough to say we're not supporting Almagro to be the Secretary General of the OAS. We voted for him last time, the first time, but that we are advancing the candidacy of Maria Fernanda Espinosa.
The Prime Minister, however, noted that SVG and the United States continue to have good relations. However, SVG will not always agree on certain matters that is supported by the current leadership in the U.S.
All I know is this, is that we are functioning in a straightforward manner within the four walls of the United Nations, and we are friends with the United States of America. We have friendly relations, but I reiterate this, that there is a section of the political leadership in the United States which seems to think that if you're not yes, yes, yes all the time with everything they say or do, somehow you're not with them. You remember that famous thing, you're with us or you're against us.
Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs Louis Straker says the region must work together to create global change. His comments came at the opening ceremony of the 26th meeting of CARIFORUM held on Friday at the Beachcombers Hotel. So Louis said as a group, member states can get involved in discussions on global matters such as migration and climate change.
Our members sit on the Security Council of the United Nations from time to time and are able to influence global developments. As I speak to you, St. Vincent and Grenadines, a small island developing states, is a member of the Security Council of the United Nations. Surely, as a group, we have the capacity to exert influence and to initiate change. As a group also, we must strengthen and deepen our involvement in global discussions on issues such as aid for trade and aid effectiveness, climate change, among others. We must raise our voices on matters related to migration, poverty reduction, and elimination, and we must be champion of the cause of women and vulnerable groups.
Louis said it is time for the region to come together to also address issues related to trade and natural disasters.
Development goals are adopted and embedded within our national development plans. Despite limited resources, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has created both a Zero Hunger Trust Fund and a Disaster Contingency Fund, innovative and unique responses to our own sustainable development needs. We have mainstreamed and prioritized goals related to clean energy, economic growth, sustainability, climate action, and biodiversity. We, however, need to address issues of perpetual vulnerability of small and vulnerable economies in the region. The time has come for the region to focus global attention on trade imperatives of small states, whose insertion into the global trading system too frequently suffers from the effects of devastation from natural disasters.
An investigation has been launched into the death of Polia fisherman Arnott Hope, who was shot in the groin and subsequently died after undergoing corrective surgery at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. At a media conference today, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said though there is no suggestions of any negligence by medical personnel here, he has however asked for an independent investigation to be carried out, which the hospital administration has agreed to.
There's no suggestion that there was any negligence, but because of certain circumstances, I had spoken to the chief medical officer and asked that she discusses the matter properly among the professionals and the ministry and the services of a professor of surgery from the region has been engaged. There's a terms of reference as to this patient from the time he entered to the time he was treated. Now,
PM Gonsalves said he took interest into the matter to determine if anything went wrong with the management of the care provided to Hope.
For a full report. And when I read the report, I raised the question as to whether or not this patient received the optimal care from the time the patient arrived to the moment of his demise. And that those answers, that the answers to that query can only come through an independent review, because from the reports that I saw, when I posed the question, it wasn't clear to me reading it, because I'm not a medical doctor.
The investigation should be complete sometime in February, but PM Gonsalves said he is not yet sure if the result will be made public. Hope was shot on December 29th and underwent surgery at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Family members claim that a pair of forceps was left inside his abdomen, which was revealed during an x-ray, and they claim this played a role in his death. However, an autopsy was carried out and it was found that Hope died as a result of complications due to gunshot hypovolemia. Hypovolemia is a decreased volume of circulation of blood in the body. His family members say they will not accept this and will be waiting on their lawyers Israel Bruce to determine their next step. At today's media briefing, PM Gonsalves reminded health professionals that patients have rights and responsibilities, which are enshrined in the recently launched charter.
And we just await to hear what this review, this independent review, take place, so that everybody, nurses, doctors, everybody, every health professional who is treating patients must know that the patients have rights. This is no longer the age when you say that medicine is something which you practice only in private. As you notice, I'm careful in circumscribing my remarks.
Local soca superstar Gamal's Skinny Fabulous Doyle is now a member of the Martello Cognac family as a brand ambassador. Doyle signed a contract to part of the Martel families last Friday, January the 17th in Trinidad and Tobago at Massey Distributions Limited, which is a distributor of the brand in the Twin Island Republic. Martel Cognac is a cognac house founded in 1750 by Jean Martel. It is part of the Martel Montpremier Juve subsidiary of the French wines and spirits conglomerate Pernod Ricard. Some of Martel's other brand ambassadors are U.S. actress Diane Kruger and South African fashion icon Hussein van Roos. Doyle said he is happy to represent the brand.
Yeah, I think that this signing to Martel will definitely go down as one of the major achievements in my career, to be quite honest. And I am truly happy to be representing our brand with such an amazing product. And really and truly, it's a real easy sell too, because I could confidently say to anyone who tries it really just only takes a sipper, and immediately you would realize how remarkably smooth it is for a cognac. It really goes down smooth, and it's a full-bodied cognac. You know, it tastes really rich. So, I mean, for me, it was an easy decision for me to make, and in the end, I know that they're very careful with the persons that they select to represent the brand, and I'm very honored to be a part of the Martel family, so to speak.
During Friday's signing, Doyle treated persons at the ceremony to a brief freestyle for Martel Cognac using some of his hit songs.